We're sharing our wins. So go ahead and unmute if you could share a win. Wyatt just sighed really loud. Rachel, did my house smell like skunk when you came over? Okay. Whew. Get rid of it. It's a mess over here of the Candia household. Anyone want to share a win? Crystal, you got anything, sister?
Sure. I am trying to figure out this whole Zoom because it's the first time I've ever used it.
It doesn't seem like it. You're rocking it. Like you knew to unmute. Like you're rocking it. I'm gonna mute myself.
Definitely the water intake for me would be my big win. I'm trying to keep up with you ladies, but you guys are rocking it. So I don't know how y'all are getting up to the 80s, but I'm getting pretty close to at least my daily intake. So that's a big pro from me going to hardly drinking. I hardly drink anything throughout the day. So just up in that, had to pee more, way more.
Totally. When we were driving, Eric is always the one that has to pee, and I can hold it the whole time. And I literally was like, can we please stop? I have to go so bad. Totally. I get you. I'm proud of you. And drinking water is so healthy. And you know what, too? A lot of times we overcompensate hunger for actually being thirsty. And so when you start to drink more water, first of all, I'm all about fueling our bodies and not starving them or depriving them or putting chemicals into them. So, but honestly, water not only helps with your metabolism and just helps regulate your body, it really does, you find out if you're actually hungry or not, if that makes sense. So we love LaCroix. It's like a flavored water, but apparently you're not supposed to have more than one really a day just because of the carbon in it, but I don't go with that rule, so just watch how many you have a day. But
you guys flavor your waters with anything? I only like using the natural stuff like Mio. I've tried using those to help just with a flavor. Or I think I'm gonna get an infuser and try to put fruit in my water.
I think infusion is the best way, but I don't do that. So Laura, you got anything on that? Because you put a thumbs up. So
thumbs up to supernatural infusing things. Yeah, just crush a couple mint leaves, throw it in there. Admittedly, fruit after a little while, it's funny because we had this issue this weekend with sangria. After it hangs out in a liquid for too long, it does tend to get a little bit mushy. But if you get one of those infusers with the baskets, it should last you quite a few rounds of water, and then just eat the fruit and refresh it.
Yeah, I was gonna get one of those.
I'm sure there's cool ones on Amazon. We can probably go find some, but.
Yeah, they also have, I found one, and it has where it marks your water, drink it by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and it has it all.
So. And you can even set an alarm on your phone. When I was a teacher, I would have my kids look at my water bottle and be my water runner, which really helped. And I just tried really hard to carry my water wherever I was. Kelsey says, if you take the peels off the fruit, it won't leave your water tasting bitter. Oh, that's a very good tip. Cool. Crystal, I'm proud of you. Keep it up. That's so awesome. Ladies, any other of you want to share a win from this week?
Well, I was this weekend with my in-laws, and I was very sensitive to being the healthy eater, and I didn't want other people to necessarily feel like they had to look at my dish and they're well, I need to get more salad because Laura got a bigger portion of salad or whatever. But we definitely talked about stuff like that. It was funny, my in-laws, and this kind of goes with the 80-day obsession time nutrition a little bit, but my in-laws were telling me how they, at the end of the day, they'll try to just eat a ton of salad, and the next thing you know, their stomachs are bothering them and everything. And I was well, it's just like drinking water. If you drink your water all at once, all, 60, 70, 80, 90 ounces of water all at once, of course your body's going to be like, what the heck? So it's kind of fun to be able to talk to them on that level, but also not trying to be like the weird kind of like health nerd at the same time.
It's so hard. It's so hard when you live a healthy lifestyle and you're around people who don't. I definitely have felt that way before. Or if I wasn't eating healthy and people know that I'm really healthy and then they comment on it. And I think it's just also bringing that awareness that healthy doesn't mean perfect and healthy doesn't mean you're 100% clean all the time. You know what I mean? And so I think it definitely can mess with our mindset, but two, it messes with other people because their version of healthy actually isn't healthy and it's like distorted a little bit. And so I love that you could have some real conversations. So if any of you ladies are kind of finding yourself in the same positions, I definitely have too. And I think if you just can continue to own your journey and just like that awareness is so needed for other people, and just even say like I even felt that way on the bachelorette weekend because I just got a lot of questions, but it was very much similar where it's like I just love this journey because it's not calorie counting, it's not being perfect, and I don't feel controlled by food, if that makes sense. And I love the way that I can fuel my body to the way that it makes it feel. But Laura, I've been there and it is such a weird like segue, but I think it gets easier with time. Like the longer it just becomes a part of your life, the more like you're not as aware of it, like compared to it is like, if that makes sense. So where you don't feel guilty or weird or feel like you have to eat healthy or unhealthy around unhealthy people, it kind of just like is your life.
Well, it's really funny because my mother-in-law, she's very into like peanut butter is healthy. Wheat toast is healthy. So it's like just because something is maybe like labeled as healthy or maybe like a healthier choice doesn't mean that that's what your entire meal should necessarily be. So I was just sitting there like, all right, so what can I like grab that's lean and green? And I literally just went to the fridge and just grabbed the bag of spinach. And I was just like, my body's craving greens.
When no one's watching, I'm just going to eat spinach. Totally. I like clean and green. I like the rhyming of that. Anyone else want to share? Keely's sister, I saw you post your before and afters with 80 Day Obsession. What's your win?
My win is definitely being more comfortable with myself. One of the things that even like my husband has talked about, he made the comment, he's like, you're a lot more confident in yourself and you're willing to like do things you wouldn't normally do. We went camping the other weekend and we live in Nebraska, so it's still kind of cold, but we went to this waterfall and it's like the perfect one that you want to go under. And so even though it was freezing out, I was like, hey, why don't we do this? So we had to like strip down. So I was in my sports bra and like shorts. And he's like, you realize that like 2 months ago, you would never have done this. And like, so it's really cool seeing that not only am I getting to see it in myself, but then to like have others notice that too. And like my grandma's called me because she figured out Facebook finally, so she gets to follow my journey. And it's constantly like I can see it in your face and like you seem so happy. I'm so proud of you. She also made my wedding dress, so she knew my measurements before I started all this. She's like, you wouldn't even fit in your dress anymore, sweetie. Aww. Like very proud of me. So it's been a really cool, like been on this for a while, and to actually be like winning in a sense, like seeing the results that I wanted for so long, and seeing how it impacts other people around me too is a huge thing. Because like even my kids have noticed at school, like You missed out. You seem like you have more energy, things like that. So
Oh, that makes my heart so happy. There is nothing more sexy than confidence. Like seriously, like in a relationship, like that is like so cool. And I think like my biggest mission is to show teachers like how to make this work in their crazy lifestyle, because what it's going to do is make you a better teacher, and then it's going to give you like more energy outside of the classroom, because what I found teaching was like I had my game face on in the classroom because I could get it done. But when I was feeling so defeated outside of the classroom. And so what it sounds like is like you have energy for camping and like other things that aren't just teaching, because like it's like that teacher guilt where you have to just constantly be a teacher. And so super cool. That made me so happy. And the fact that you've been doing Beachbody longer than most of us on here, and just knowing like over the last 2 months it's been different for you, like because I know you've incorporated Shakeology now and you're doing like the meal. Isn't it crazy how much of a part that played for you after all these years? Is so cool to witness. So I'm so thankful and grateful that you're doing this. So cool. Rachel and Kelsey, no stress, but you're more than welcome to share. Rachel, looks like you're coming over. Okay. Like save the day superhero Rachel is what I'm gonna call you.
Hi. Can you hear me? I can't hear you guys. I don't know.
Oh,
hold on.
We can
okay, wait.
hear you.
I can hear you. You
Okay.
can hear me? Okay. I'm in the middle of cooking dinner for the kids I nanny, but so today I woke up and I felt like horrible. I don't know why. Like I don't know, I just felt super dizzy and I like did not want to do my workout. So I just took a nap and did my workout like 2 hours later, and I felt great and I was really glad that I did it. So I've been putting pressure on myself to do it at like the same time or like the time that I had planned, and I was just like, you know what, it's okay. Like I'll do it, but I won't do it like right now because I'll fall over because I'm dizzy. Like
That's so two things. One, love that you listened to yourself, and two, love that you still worked out when you were ready to, because I think most people would be like, put it off, and they're like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Even though you felt better after 2 hours, I don't think most people would have continued to work out anyway. So that's really cool. And then three, that is such a hard thing. I'm the same way. I put this pressure on myself that I need to wake up. Like, I love our launch project that we have of like, did you get up on the first alarm? Because it's a good, for me, I'm just more productive in the morning, but I definitely find myself battling like, oh, Julianne, like you're losing steam, or like, yeah, like I put this pressure on myself, and it's the same thing where it's like, just get it done and you're going to feel good. So I love that you shared that, because I think that all of us need to hear that.
yeah, it felt good too, because like I usually make an excuse, you know, I'm like, I don't feel good, I'm not going to do, or I'll say, oh, I'll do it later, but then later comes, I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I like, you know, but I actually did it. I was like, okay, like give yourself a couple hours, but then you're going to do it. Like no excuses, you're going to do it then. So
Yeah,
I gave myself a little leeway, but not like too much.
Yeah, but why do you think that like you did it? Like, is it because it's been these 2 weeks and like you feel more empowered? Like for me last night, I still hadn't done my workout, and I was like, I need to show up for the ladies in the group. Like that's all I could think about. And I was like, I just need to do it. And I didn't want to, and I did. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad. So I felt more accountable. But why do you think that it was that you didn't make an excuse?
I've been paying more attention to like what I've been doing wrong, I guess. And I listened to this podcast called Happier, and they were explaining like the treat yourself kind of thing. And they said, yeah, it's good to treat yourself sometimes, but like I was treating myself too much. You know what I mean? I would always convince myself like, oh, you earned it. You don't have to do that today because you earned it. And I started getting too good at it, was like ultimately not treating myself. So
Yeah,
I was doing the opposite. So I'm trying to be like ultra aware of what I've been doing wrong in the past, or, you know, that hasn't been working for me.
You are seriously like, yeah, you're like speaking to my soul. So true.
Yeah.
It's so true. So something that I definitely noticed in the group today, that everyone is really wanting to work on fighting that negative self-talk. And so this week, the rest of this week, I really want to focus on positive self-talk and learning how to do that. A podcast that I really love listening to with confidence is called Confidence by Trish Blackwell. And so she's a really great person to listen to when it comes to positive self-talk. And it was just crazy to me to see that most of the women in our group, that is like their struggle, where I said, what do you want to get rid of this week? And everyone was saying like that negative self-talk. So that podcast has been really helpful for me. But also a few other things that have been helpful for me are writing I am statements. Sounds super silly, but writing down I am statements every single day, or just like reciting them in my head. And Eric does this, my husband does this. Like he's like, I am a good husband, like I'm a great husband. And he writes down his 5 I am statements daily, and I think it's really cute. But I also like think about mine as well, as like I am smart, I am enough. And it has to do with the things that I'm insecure with, or that I have been insecure with, like always thinking that I was stupid, like was one. So like I have to combat that with like, no, you're so smart, or I'm enough. Or if you struggle with the scale or struggle with how you look in the mirror or things like that, I really encourage you guys to write I am statements where you struggle the most, if that makes sense. So if you don't feel like a good spouse, or you don't feel like a good friend, like just really reiterating that in your life has been really helpful for me. And just in general, like personal development has transformed my life. And personal development doesn't have to be something where it's like 5 hours a day, but I just think like 15 minutes of really good, whatever you consume consumes you. And so if you're consuming negative thoughts, that's going to consume you. But if you're consuming positive things, like positive messages, positive affirmations, positive content, you're going to start consuming that. Just kind of like if you're consuming bad food and you're consuming the couch and trash TV, you're just going to notice that that is a struggle in your life. And so for me, I'm just like, what would I rather consume? I would rather consume confidence. I'd rather consume self-care. I'd rather consume positive people in my life, right? And things like that. So what I want to do this week is just really focus on driving that self-care. Do any of you ladies have the Happy podcast? I have never listened to that, so I'm going to download it. Oh, Happier. I'm going to download that as soon as we get off this. And I'm really excited because I have some really great podcasts that I listen to. Someone that I really like listening to is Rachel Hollis. She doesn't have a podcast, but her Instagram stories are really motivating. And so I really like following her. Do any of you have any good self-love techniques or things that you like to consume daily? It could be a podcast, a book, anything. But we'll definitely focus on it this week if you don't have any ideas.
I'm currently reading Present Over Perfect, which is like the perfect book for me. My sister-in-law read it and I was interested, and then I picked it up. But it's all about like making sure you're not like consuming yourself in work, because that's your way of getting out of things and not feeling your feelings. And that has been a huge thing in my life, and that's something that I'm still working on. And so that has been really good, especially as a teacher, because it's all about how not to like just fall into work, because it's easier than dealing with life around you.
That's huge. And do you notice too, you can desensitize yourself as a teacher because of all of the issues that are going on. So then also it kind of carries over into other aspects of your life where like I struggle with bedside manner. And I'm like, this is because I was a teacher and kids were crying wolf all the time. And you kind of build up this like, you're fine, suck it up. And then a kid actually throws up and you feel bad. But you know what I mean? Where you're just like, no, totally present over perfect. So we should definitely go share that after this. Does anyone else have any cool tools or resources that have transformed their life as far as self-care? I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head. I'll have to brainstorm and share that in the group. Positive quotes. I definitely like the mantra. I do like a weekly mantra or a daily mantra that I just like repeat over in my head. Yeah, that's kind of what I have so far. Oh, the Shine project thing that we shared last week. Those texts, those daily texts that you can get throughout the week are really inspiring and wonderful. Laura, Kelsey, do you ladies have anything?
I've lately been, or not lately, I've been doing this for a while. Been starting my day with, I post a quote to my Instagram stories, but it's, I've been spending my mornings just kind of going through quotes, but I look for quotes that are based on kind of something that I have going on in my head. So it could either be like a Monday would be kind of like a new beginnings, if that's kind of what is on my heart and in my mind. And then another thing that I like to do is it sounds funny. You do it too, Julianne. But for those of you that don't post a little bit of kind of what's going on in your life, or even like post a little bit of your workout or something, it's funny how suddenly people kind of come out of the woodwork and they're like, oh wow, like, yeah, you know, that you're not doing your workout perfectly, but like I'm still like supportive of you and I can totally relate to that. And it feeds your soul, but it also helps other people. So that's another thing.
I love that you just said that, because I think a lot of people are so afraid of judgment of other people. But what has transformed me, and I was like, because when I first became a coach, you guys, I had never done a challenge group. I had never tried Shakeology, like not anything. Laura too. Well, no, you did some of the workouts, I guess. But I felt held accountable to follow through. But that's what I noticed too, is that it was almost like, I don't want to say therapy. I just don't think that that's the right word, but it was therapeutic, I guess, to be able to share my journey. And it kind of allowed me to just like process, reflect, cope, and move forward and goal set, all simply by just sharing my journey authentically, and then being able to like inspire other people while I was still working on myself. And essentially, you guys, were not saying, hey, go post on your public page or your page and do that, but that's what our group is for. Even that you can just like share your journey, almost like in the journal setting. So Kelsey just said positive affirmations. I repeat them in my head. Girl, I'm right with you. Like high five. Sounds weird, but I always smile at myself in the mirror. Me too. I love that you just said that. When I'm tired or grouchy, but it makes me laugh. Yep. Or like, I think too, like when we look in the mirror, our biggest thing is like, as a woman, I think, is to look at our flaws right away. Like, I don't know how that happened and what that, yeah, it's like, it's like goes like straight to your flaws. But like, who taught us that? How did we become that way? And just really, like, that's where I love, well, I don't have a good example right now because there's none of them on my mirrors, but I used to, where I would post like positive things on my mirror. And I know I was talking to some of you guys about like the scale. If it's consuming you, it's going to consume your brain. Like it's going to consume a thing that is not going to be healthy in this process. And so I was so proud of challengers that put my scale away. I was like, that's the journey to healing that I needed, because this journey is so much more than weight loss. It is about finding self-confidence, self-love, and just finding, like when Rachel was talking, how she's like, I listened to my body, I took a nap, and then I realized that I could do my workout. Like, I don't think a lot of people could make that decision. I think that they wouldn't do it. And I feel like that's a bigger victory than losing 5 pounds. Some of you might disagree with me, but I really think that that's empowerment, because what's going to happen now is over time, you're going to choose self-care, self-love, and working out and eating healthy. And then over time, yes, like you're going to hit goals that you've wanted to hit for a really long time. But what's cool is your confidence is growing. So then when you do get to wherever you want to go, you're going to look back and it was never about the weight loss. And so many times people who aren't a part of this kind of community, all they're in it for is the weight loss, and then they lose the weight and then they gain it all back because they never worked on their heart and they never worked on their mind. And that is why I think that this community is so vital, because we really work on ourselves. And then what naturally happens is that we do become really fit in different areas of life. And so I'm just really proud of all of you for being a part of this and just sticking it out and trusting this process, because it's not going to be perfect and it's just going to challenge us in different ways, but it's seriously going to make us better. And so I'm really thankful that all of you hopped on today. I'm going to hit the end record